treating your marriage like a business. This is one of the things that I think is a great belief, a great limiting belief to have. Love isn't supposed to be structured. It's not supposed to be like a business. It needs to be
that's what
emotional.
I
It needs to be emotional. It needs to be emotional, right? Let me ask you this. And that's fine. I'm not disagreeing with you. But when you go to do business, would you rather do business with somebody who has been in business for a really long time, who has, let's just say like a franchise, who has multiple locations all over the world, and when you go into the one in Bozeman, Montana, which we're at, you can go into the same one in Phoenix, Arizona, and get the same level of service. Would you prefer that, or would you rather just take a random chance on going to a random restaurant in Bozeman, and then you have to go to a random chance, or then you have to go to another restaurant in Phoenix with a total random chance of a different experience, right? And while most people, they want some variety in their life, of course. I'm not saying not having variety, but like, you know what the experience is going to be when you go to Applebee's in Bozeman and then you know what the experience is going to be when you go to Applebee's in Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to be relatively the same. You're going to be able to expect the same things on the menu and be able to expect a lot of the same, the look and the feel of it. And so a marriage is very much the same thing. It's a combination of variety and certainty, right? Because ultimately, like, a lot of times we like to eat the same things, but sometimes we like to spice it up, right? Your marriage is the same thing. You need to have consistency in your marriage, right? Like marriage meetings, like communication cycles.
Without the consistency, you cannot have the spontaneity.
Yes, that's it. That's the key. She said it. Did you guys hear that? Say it again.
Without the consistency, you cannot have the spontaneity.
Why is that?
Because the expectations are inconsistent. They're like sporadic and all over the place with spontaneity. But when you have the baseline of consistency, you can actually incorporate the spontaneity.
Yes. And that is the key, is when you have a foundation to build from. Katie knows that I'm going to show up every single day a certain way. She knows I'm going to show up happy. She knows that I'm going to take responsibility. She has to worry about Logan. Is Logan going to be a dick today? Or is he going to be nice? Like, what am I going to get? Right? And so when I'm able to show up consistent for her, also when variety comes in, like, hey,
date night,
like, boom, like it can go. Or like, I'm thinking more even back to investing. Like, Katie, guess what? We have this opportunity to buy an Airbnb for $1.6 million, right? In Arizona. Like, what do you think about that? And she's like, okay. Right? It's like, because we have so much consistency here, we have so much structure, all of a sudden when we have something that's like totally different, a totally different opportunity, and I come at her with like, I've obviously thought about it, I have done my homework, she's like, okay, right? Or she can like, I mean, she can do whatever she wants, but like, that's the situation that actually just happened. And it's like, okay, like, it wasn't a big deal. It's because the consistency, and then all of a sudden it allows us to have variety of like buying, different investment properties here, doing other certain things because of that consistency, right? So without consistency, you can't have variety. Quote by Katie, great quote, right? Okay, so I think that was. Anything else? I mean, so the whole point of this conversation, if you've been watching for the last 30 minutes, thank you. I appreciate you. God bless you. And if you have been, like, comment. I'm curious. Like, I see a couple of comments in there.
What's your takeaway?
Yeah, what's your takeaway? What's your takeaway in there? But outside of that, I think we hit the nail on the head. It's just, if you want to invest in anything, whether it be real estate, whether it's a business, whether you want to like grow grow in anything, like the number one person you can have is your spouse, right? And so like my number one is Katie. Katie's number one is me. And ultimately, like when we understand that, like we are a team, we're truly on the same team, and we have clear communication cycles. We have clear goals. We have clear things that we have our roles that we do as well. We're able to grow. We're able to move at a higher rate and at a faster speed because we're both on the same page and we're really clear on what we want. Right?
Communication is the compass.
Communication is the compass. So I appreciate you guys for listening. We'll be back again, and we'll be doing this more because I just want to have conversations with my wife. And the only way I can do that is by putting her on a podcast. She's so dang busy for me. Kids and running multiple businesses, having 15 rentals, there's lots of work that goes into it. And she literally does it all. Like, she does everything. So
thank you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Happy Wednesday.
Katie Manzanares.
Logan Manzanares.
Bye.
Bye.